All right. Once again, good morning, everybody. Friday, January 3rd, 2024. This is the first.
Ooh. What year is this?
2025. This is the first safety meeting of the year. Man, we're going to do this maybe 51 Fridays this year. I was looking at the calendar. July 4th is on a Friday, so we're going to need to make some decisions on what we're going to do. You know, we're just a little bit of forward thinking, a little bit of trip planning for you, Dave, to make sure that we've got everything covered. My name's Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department. This is Dave White. He works in the safety department. We are live in Springfield, Missouri, and we are simulcasting live to our other terminals in Pittston, Pennsylvania, Salt Lake City, Utah, and we are now live across the socials, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So we want to welcome our folks that are listening, one, for the first time, or, of course, our frequent visitors to these safety meetings. You know, we get a lot of feedback on these safety meetings. You know, and one thing we're going to work on in 2025, we want more and more drivers to watch. Every customer that we talk to, this is what they watch to get a glimpse of what Prime's doing. You know, when Dave and I go to these industry conferences and we talk to our industry peers, every single one of them, hey, I watch that safety meeting on Fridays. They may not watch it every Friday, but they tune in from time to time, you know, for nothing else, to hear what folks like Steve Wucky and Robert Lowe say on a weekly basis. I think that's awesome. You know, when we talk to defense attorneys around the country, one of the ways they research our company is they watch this meeting. You know, so we want to make sure that in addition to so many other folks in the industry, we want to make sure that our drivers are tuning in as much as possible. Do you need to watch every week? Maybe not, you know, but you do have a library, an archive, so to speak, to go back and watch any of these meetings on social media. So we want you to do that. You know, blast from the past, we used to put them on cassette tape and CD and put them all along the truck stops. We don't do that anymore, thankfully. That's probably a real expense to do that. But now we got folks like Mitch over here that puts these on social media for us. So as you move forward, I know a lot of you guys are social media folks and YouTube folks. You know, put this information out there. We don't ask you to agree with everything we say. That's just a part of being a human being. But it's important that you do watch and that our drivers do get information straight from the source, not from, you know, some other source. Straight from the source, straight from Prime, straight from the managers and the folks that are doing the work. So, you know, as we do every single Friday morning, and this is not going to change, breakfast is free. So if you haven't placed your order, jump in line, place your order at any one of our locations. And, you know, I just want to give us some special recognition to John Blancett and his team. Let's give them a round of applause. They do a great job at each of our locations, but tonight is going to be their really big test with the Prime Party. There's going to be tons and tons of foot-sized shrimp, and maybe, you know, it'll just be a food smorgasbord extravaganza. So, you know, folks like me will enjoy ourselves greatly. What else we got?
Hopefully, then nobody's on a diet when you're there, because if you are, diets
don't
struggle.
We're Kobe.
Missionary driver, health and guy. Yeah, he
diets are, you know, no go on diets during holiday season. After tonight, tomorrow starts the big diet, the big goals for 2025. You know, whether it's, you know, weight loss or exercise more, that can start tomorrow. But tonight we're gonna have a good time.
There you go. We are, and I just want to say good morning to everybody, and especially a big shout out to all of our drivers out there running down the highway. And if you're listening, that's great. If you want to watch this later on, make sure you're parked and you park safely. And but thank you for being out there. Thank you for running the freight while we're here inside. And you know, Dennis got some weather coming up, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But things are going to be changing here pretty quickly this coming weekend, and that's what the weather forecasters are going to say. But just want to give a big shout out. Thank you. Hopefully everybody had a happy New Year, and big party tonight, like Dennis said, and we're gonna have a good time. And Robert knows how to throw parties. You know, one of our beliefs here is that you work hard, you play hard. So, but that being said, just make sure everybody stay responsible, be respectful to each other, and be responsible. And if you're drinking, make sure you don't drive, and get yourself a room tonight and enjoy yourself. And there'll be plenty of food to be had, no doubt.
Safety is one of the core values of this company. We will operate safely. We will not sacrifice the safety of one of our associates or the motoring public for economic gain. Fun is also one of our core values. So we're really looking forward to a great event for tonight. So let's see who we got in Pittston, Pennsylvania. Good morning, folks out east. How are you today?
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
What you guys got going on there?
Hey, it's been a pretty quiet week this week as far as terminal wise and weather wise. So it's been a nice week as far as weather. We do have some snowstorms that look like are going to be coming up here pretty soon. So just remember, if you take one thing away from these meetings, you are the captain of the ship. And if you feel uncomfortable driving in the conditions that you're driving in, just get it parked and, wait that out an hour, 2 hours, maybe 10 hours. But conditions will change, and they'll get out there and clear those roads, and you'll be able to get back out to go trucking again.
Sounds fantastic. Richard, what you got for us?
Not a whole lot new. I do want to put out a little bit of message here. I have a couple things I want to cover. We do have a smaller group this week. We didn't have orientation this week, but we do have a large class coming in on Monday. And I kind of want to put a message out to all of our instructors and trainers out there, along with our drivers and trainees. If you come into the terminal and you are looking to get a bunk room, we have those bunk rooms here, but if they are full, I want you to reach out to your fleet managers. Even if your daytime fleet manager is off, there is always coverage for your fleet. So reach out to that dispatcher that's covering, and they can get you set up with a hotel room. The hotels that we primarily use are the Holiday Inn and the Best Western. If you get with your dispatcher, they can get you set up to go over there and get you a room. The Holiday Inn is next to the Walmart, and the Best Western is over on Airport Road next to the airport. So, you can always get a room. We can always make sure we'll get you set up, but you just need to coordinate with your dispatchers. I see folks walking around here and they're talking to security and they're trying to help them out. Just get with your dispatcher. They'll get you set up, and then we'll get you over to a hotel so that you can get someplace to sleep for the night. Aside from that, I don't have anything big. We do have snowstorms rolling in on Monday, so be mindful of that as you're coming into the Northeast. Those storms should be coming through here about that time. But aside from that, I don't have anything else. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you. Got a quick question for you. I see just to your left, Richard, the Christmas tree in Pittston is still there. Today's the third? What do we call it? The third? At what point, for one, Richard, is your Christmas tree still up at home?
Immediately after we opened the gifts, my wife said, we're done. And she started getting it cleaned up and was ready for the new year.
All right.
I think we can have the Christmas tree up all year round, right? We could just celebrate for every holiday with it, just decorate it different.
Yeah, all right. So you're a year-long tree type of connoisseur, so that's fine. All right, we appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I think still got our Christmas decorations up.
We do. Which present's mine, Dennis? Which one did you get wrapped for me?
Lump of coal, my brother.
Lump of coal.
Hey, your house, is the Christmas tree still up?
No, my wife, like the day after Christmas, they started taking it down. My mother-in-law was there to help, so it really went fast. When you got your mother-in-law there, she tears stuff down quickly.
All right.
So, yep.
All right, understood.
Nice. Yeah, all I had to do was just carry it downstairs, take it apart, and carry it downstairs. I got 2 boys for that, so I didn't even have to do that, Dennis.
That's working smarter, not harder.
There you go.
There you go. All right, let's go out west. Salt Lake City, Utah. Who do we got with us this morning?
Good morning. You've got Jonathan this morning. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic, Jonathan. Before you even get started, you guys notice something behind Jonathan. They are a Christmas decorations out of here type terminal. Good morning, sir.
We've moved along from the decorations and look forward to moving some freight now. So, it's just like Richard and those folks up there in PA. Orientation was super slow this week due to the holiday, but we also have a really good group coming in next week, so we're really excited to get those future prime drivers started. I did want to point out again the locks on trailers. I've mentioned a couple times recently, but we still see quite a few trailers come through our plaza without locks on their trailers, loaded or empty. Just please make sure you guys add that to your pre and post trip inspections, that you do have a lock on those trailers. Thieves are out there and they're definitely looking for us. So just please make sure you guys are double checking that. Obviously with the holiday being over now, we've probably got a bunch of drivers just spent a little bit of home time. So I encourage everybody to get back out there and run some freight, make a little bit more money and get caught back up. And then the last thing I wanted to say is 2025 is gonna be a great year for Prime. I wanted to wish everybody a happy new year and please be safe out there.
All right, fantastic information, Jonathan. We appreciate you being with us this morning. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to step to the microphone.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, right back here. Good morning, folks in Springfield, Missouri. How are you? Everybody's lively, ready for the party tonight, right? All right, well, good deal, good deal. So, you know, we do have a few new folks here with us this week. As you know, the other classes were small, ours were small too, but I do want to extend a heartfelt welcome and ask you, if this is your first week at Prime, if you would stand for just a second to give us the opportunity to welcome you to the team. All right, and of course, you know, the Friday of the Springfield Christmas party, we see so many familiar faces, so many folks that we miss, we love, we enjoyed seeing you, you know, but of course, we want to make sure you get here, get your business taken care of, and we want to get you back out on the road as quickly and as safely as possible.
Yeah, no doubt. And I just want to say once again, hey, thank you. Thank you for showing up this morning. This is your meeting. So if you all have questions, we're transparent as transparent can be, man. If you have questions, let us know. If we can't answer them, sometimes we can't, we'll get you the answer, no doubt. But this is your meeting, and looking forward to it, and looking forward to the night too. So, but let's start off with some safety numbers. How's that sound, buddy?
Go for it.
All right. So this past week we had 122 DOT inspections. 88 of those were clean. So 72% clean rate. So great job, everybody. Yes. Put your hands together. Give yourself a round of applause. That's awesome. You know what's more important, Dennis? 10 out of the last 12 weeks, we've been above 70% on our inspections. So last year, we ended the year at 66%. I haven't got this year's numbers yet. So I think we're going to be better in 24 than we were in 23, which that's what we're shooting for. But next Friday, we'll have those for you. So we'll get that out there. But great job, everybody. Couple of violations I saw, because I actually got to go through them all. Dennis goes through them all every week and reviews them, and then he gives them to one of us safety supervisors, and this week was mine. Saw a few too many parking on the shoulder, and you know, you don't want to park on the shoulder unless you absolutely have to, and that would be if you're broken down, the truck is, or you are broken down. That's the only reason you can be on the shoulder of the highway. So many of these states are they're looking for trucks. They don't want them parking on the shoulder because, as the old term from Don Lacey, you're a sitting duck when you're on the shoulder. People do run into you. And when they do, if you're not supposed to be sitting there, makes it a little bit difficult sometimes for us to defend. So that being said, stay off the shoulder. Make sure you plan your trip. Trip planning is extremely important. You leave here out of Springfield, you should have a general idea where you're going to be stopping when you take your break to get your 10 hours in, where you want to sleep that night, maybe even where you want to eat later on during the day. You know, have those trips, have those planned out. Make sure you're looking at that motor carrier atlas. I know many of you still use that GPS, but that motor carrier atlas will tell you where those permanent scales are. You'll know that ahead of time. They also tell you what state routes to stay on and what, you know, internet or interstate highways to be on. So it gives you a good idea where to go. And not only that, it just helps you trip plan. So,
hey, Dave, we're curious over here. What's the average for clean inspection rate across the industry?
Clean inspection, yeah. So we have Captain Kelly come down from the Missouri Highway Patrol. He says usually most carriers average about 35, maybe 38% clean inspection. So we do a very good job here. And not only that, you know, our operators dig it because you get $100, man, $100 clean inspection. Most companies don't pay that at all. Don't even come close. Most of them don't even pay you for a clean inspection. So we reward you for that. And that's what it's about. You know, it's more about, you know, money's nice, but in the same sense, this time of year, man, you need to be checking your equipment. You know, I mentioned earlier today about cold weather's coming in, man. Make sure your truck is ready to go. Make sure you got that anti-gel with you. Your fuel's been mixed, all that. We're going to have Trent come up here in a little bit from Road Assist, and he'll talk more about that. But you got to be prepared because you don't want to break down when it starts getting this cold. And they're talking single digits for lows, and that's just down here in southern Missouri. Up north, I guarantee you they'll be below zero, and single digits for probably highs up in Iowa, Minnesota, you know, Wisconsin. So be prepared. You know, this is a time of year you don't want to be sitting along the roadside, broke down and waiting for a truck or your fuel gelled up or something like that. So make sure you're ready to go, but more importantly too, make sure your truck's ready to go because that needs to happen as well. So, but overall, Dennis, great week on inspections again. We knocked it out of the ballpark, man.
You said 8 out of 10 weeks. You said
10 out of 12.
10 out of 12. I also did a little bit of searching, and 7 out of the last 10 weeks, we've had no cell phone violations.
That'll help that unsafe driving, man. Yep.
You know, and just to kind of put it in perspective for you, you know, before we did this camera thing, we were looking at probably 4 or 5 a week. You know, so that's 20 a month. You know, we had 7 out of 10 weeks where we had none. You know, it's making a difference. It's definitely making a difference. You know, you said something else too that I want to make sure that we talked about. You talked about parking on the shoulder or the on-ramp beside the road. You know, a couple things. One, on my way to work yesterday, I saw a prime truck parked at Division on the side of the road. You know, and look, I know parking's a challenge. It's probably one of the most talked about things in the industry. We get it, we understand, and we often talk to customers about, you know, what kind of leeway and leverage do we have to make sure our drivers can get the rest they need and have that location. But sometimes I think we just take the easy route out. This dude was parked one exit up. We have a whole terminal here where you can park. You know, it wasn't an hours issue. I checked that. It was just he got unloaded at AG, and instead of coming here, he parked on the shoulder. You know, so don't take the easy way out. You know, if push comes to shove and there's no other place on the planet to park, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I'm not endorsing that, but I am saying that I know that there are real world situations where you have to do that. But that guy one exit up, he didn't have to do that. He took the easy route out and just parked on the ramp. So, you know, you talked about Captain Kelly when he was here last. He did talk about in the state of Missouri, you can park, you know, at the way stations.
Yeah, if they're closed, you can pull into the way stations and park there. They're fine with that. And no, they won't bother you. They won't come knocking on your door if they're going to open up and say, hey, let me see your hours. Let's do an inspection. That's what he did. He told us that. He said, no, if you need rest, you can park at the scales there in Missouri, and that's fine. You know, if they're closed, pull in, get your rest, and get going again. I know some of us are thinking, yeah, the officer will pull in there, and the next thing you know, he'll be doing a full-blown inspection and waking me up and he said they would not. So if that does happen to you and you're parked, let me know. I'll call Captain Kelly myself. We got a great relationship with Prime and him. He does a wonderful job. He's the head of the commercial motor vehicle enforcement here. As long as you're not doing anything wrong, hey, you know, if you're sleeping, doing your own thing, that's part of taking your time off. So, you know, yeah, he's very open about that, which was amazing. That's nice to know that.
Hey, being a true capitalist, hey, I'd park there on purpose if I knew they were going to inspect me. Collect $100. It's the reverse of paying to park.
There you go.
Yeah. So there you go. Hey, you know, we're almost 25 after the hour. You know, let's move it along. Let's get our first speaker up here.
All right, coming up from our log department, we have Alicia. Good morning, Alicia, wearing her Kansas City Chiefs shirt. All right, man, good job. Go.
Both of you. Okay, I am gonna keep it super short today, like always. We know that we're ramping up the GeoTab. Everybody's getting it installed. We're getting calls constantly. The majority of our calls right now are drivers that are switching from the QC over to GeoTab. Whenever you do get logged into the GeoTab, your logs can look a little scary. They can look like you've been left in PC, the drive, on duty, yard move. So they do look a little scary. But once you go in and you accept and verify all of your logs from the QC, it corrects it. So it goes right back to what it looked like when you logged off. So don't worry, whenever you log in, just accept and verify. If you have any questions about that, especially if you're here in Springfield, just come by the log department because we can help you like go in, make sure that it does look correct on both ends. Okay, that's it. Super.
Anybody got any questions for logs? She ran away.
She's off.
Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. All right, Dave, what do we got next?
So, you know, we're looking for Colby, found out he's off today. So we got the better thing than Colby. We got Rachel from Driver Health and Fitness.
I thought you were going to say donuts. All right.
No, I don't think.
All right. Good morning,
Thank you,
Rachel.
guys. Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm the dietitian with Driver Health and Fitness upstairs. So this morning, our health tip is just to talk a little bit about supportive accountability. So I'm sure we've all had someone in our lives who has helped us to get through like, you know, a tough period, helped us to get into a new career, something like that. What I'm talking about is supportive accountability with health goals. So it's super, super helpful to kind of help you continue that goal or to help you have more progress in whatever your health goals are if you're doing anything this year for that. And if you need any support in that, if you need an accountability partner, myself, Colby, Johanna, and Matt and Maria, we can all be a part of that if you need that. But something I want to plug real quick is our Fit in 15 challenge is happening again this year, and it is a team setup. So if you go to your app and then you can go to the Driver Health and Fitness, you can sign up for that, the team challenge Fit in 15. And that is basically the program is a weight loss, it's a weight control program, and it's built around getting points. And in the team format, you kind of have the accountability partner kind of built in. So if anyone has any questions, just feel free to come talk to me upstairs or talk to Colby or Matt or Maria at the other locations. Thank you, guys.
Man, we're flying.
We are moving pretty quick. You want to be my accountability partner?
Sure.
No.
What do you want me to do?
No.
How much you gonna pay me?
See, that's exactly where
That's
I knew
what it
you were
comes down
going.
to, man.
That's
It's a new
exactly
year.
where I knew you were going. All right. You know, speaking of getting paid, you know, it's always important that if something happens, you know, we have a lot of accidents where the prime driver's not at fault, where somebody hits you, whether it's, you know, a lane change, whether it's they failed to stop at a signal, or a lot of them are going to be at these truck stops where you're in the bunk, you're sleeping, you're parked perfectly the way you're supposed to, and you know some other company tries to back in and they catch you while you're sleeping. So you know we've got Jeff Chisholm here from our claims department. He specifically handles subrogation. He's going to talk about that for a little while.
He also covers cargo claims too, so he's got quite the job.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Chisholm. I'm in our subrogation and cargo department. Today, I just want to focus on our accident claims a little bit. When we say subrogation, it's really just a fancy word for collection. Have any of you guys ever had your truck hit at a truck stop, anything like that? Okay. So if you get hit at a truck stop, you have damage to your vehicle on the road or something like that, it gets assigned to our accident subrogation department. And let me just kind of give you some tips on how we can be more successful in collecting for your damages and downtime. If you ever have an incident like that, make sure you gather a lot of information at the scene. And what I mean by that is, you know, try to get, you know, their truck number, their trailer number, their driver's license. They'll give you copies of the registrations, certificates of insurance, and you know, you can just snap a quick photo of all that information. And, you know, try to get some good scene photos as well, you know, especially if the vehicles are still connected, if somebody's backed into you, you know, grab some scene photos, you know, back up 10 or 15 foot and just get some good photos, get good photos of the side of their truck to show all their information. The key items on their truck is going to be obviously their name, their DOT number, and their truck number. We can find a lot of information online with those key points. If you can get a police report, get one. A lot of the officers won't show up to private property. So if you can't get a police report, it's always good if you have a witness around there, just have them sign something. Just write out just a quick, short description of what happened, put their name, put their phone number. We can always contact them if we need some extra support. Typically, the insurance companies will not consider your spouse or a co-driver an unbiased witness, so we can't really do that. In addition to all that, get some good photos of your truck. If it's nighttime, try to get the best you can. It is difficult sometimes at night, and we prefer not to have close-ups. We can zoom out on them, but get good pictures of your damage and everything. Show us kind of what happened, and the next morning, take some good daylight photos and send those in to us. Now, a lot of your minor damages, scratches, scrapes, stuff like that, we will typically go to our body shop and just have them write an estimate. We will pursue the other insurance company for your damages, and we will add downtime for the time that it takes to repair the truck. If you have substantial damage, a lot of times you'll have to get temp repairs, or you may have to come and put it into the body shop. And then, in those cases, we'll probably have to wait till your truck is finished, and then we'll submit a claim for all your expenses combined together. It's a little challenging right now. We got a lot of companies out there. They're not really doing that well financially. So collection's been a little challenging this year, trying to get these people to pay up. So, bear with us as much as you can. We will stay on these folks. We have Elizabeth Watson is probably our main contact in subrogation. I mean, she's dialing all the time trying to get these people to pay these claims, and it can be a challenge, but we're certainly here to do everything we can to collect this money for you, recover downtime. And one thing I didn't mention, if you are hit and it's not your fault, we will hold your deductible. We will not charge the deductible upfront. We will just waive that and pursue the other company to try to recover that. And it looks like we got a question over here.
Yeah, just a quick question. You've mentioned a couple times during this that you guys try to recover downtime. At what rate?
We have to properly support downtime in order for a lot of companies to pay us. So what we do, it's kind of a simple calculation, but we'll take your profit and loss statement for the whatever period. Let's say if you get hit July 1st, we'll take it from January to July 1st. We will take your total revenue, back out your variable expense because you don't incur that while your truck is down. And theoretically, we're trying to build them for what's left, your fixed costs and your contribution of profit. We divide that out by day and get a daily rate. Sometimes we get a lot of pushback on that. We may refer to a rider rental truck rate, which is about, I think, $334 a day. If we have to kind of go a different direction to try to collect something, but that's generally what we base it on.
Hey, Jeff, one more real quick. You talked about the police coming. So as an operator, if you know that the police are on their way or they've been called, should you wait for them to get there or go ahead and get out and take pictures?
I would go ahead and get out and take pictures. I would document everything you can before they get there. Especially, if you got a guy that's, it's just being difficult, doesn't want to exchange information, doesn't want to work with you, more than likely we're going to have a problem when it comes time to try to collect that money. So, in those cases, always try to get a police report and always try to get witnesses if available. But I would gather everything you can, and unless he's being, just, a little bit difficult or you don't want to get out and mess with him. But yeah, get photos, and when the police gets there, let's exchange information and get everything we can to support you. Anything else, guys? All right, appreciate your time. Everybody have a great day.
Great job, Jeff. A couple other pro tips, and Dave, I know you've done this a long time. On the side of every commercial vehicle, they've got some information. You've seen it on your truck. There's a truck number, there's a USDOT number. You know, in a lot of cases, you don't even have to get out of the truck to take that picture. That's really the information that we need for our team and Jeff's team to go and start to make those contacts with that other company. We'll be able to, as long as it's a legitimate company, we'll be able to search their insurance company from that information as well. And here's one more deal, and I know Dave probably has something to hit the button. All but about 600 of you got Metrodon cameras in your truck. Hit the button. Something happens, there's a silver button on the bottom side of your camera. Hit the button. And what that does is that creates a driver-initiated event. A lot of you hit it by accident. Your cat, your dog, you've hit it when you're cleaning. We've seen it. All right. If there's something that happens that you want to capture, hit the button. Simple as that. What that does is that creates a timestamp for us to start looking. All right. Because inevitably, if you don't, you're going to tell me that accident happened at 8 a.m. But when we find the video, it actually happened at 3 a.m. All right. And in some situations, you know, our memories are not as accurate as we think they are, and that's okay. But don't leave it up to chance. Hit the button. Hit the button. If you want us to see somebody rolls in front of you, hit the button. You know, whatever the case may be. If you hit it by accident, that's fine too. But if you want us to go back and look, and if you want to capture something with that camera, hit the button.
Yeah, then great advice right there. Definitely protect yourself. But, you know, somebody hits you in a parking lot, you really need to be on the offensive. You need to get out of the truck and start going after obtaining their information, especially if they decide to try to leave. If you can stop them, that's great. But get out and try to, you know, take pictures of their vehicle. Any witnesses around, get their name, just like Jeff said, name, phone number, who they drive for. And because, you know, that's your time. Your time to get that information is right there. So go ahead, Jamie, what you got?
Okay, with these cameras, what if you're out of the truck and get hit? Will it still capture somebody hitting us?
Yes, it will. Now, keep in mind, it's just facing forward. So if you get hit somewhere that's not in the view, of course, it wouldn't capture that. But if you're parked in and somebody hits your front end, absolutely, yes, it'll capture that.
Yeah, so many drivers we talk to, you know, well, I called the police, I'm going to sit in my truck and wait. Well, there's problems with that. When you sit in your truck, the police show up, they're going to keep you separated. They don't want you talking to the other driver. They don't want any crap start happening, any disagreements, yelling. They're just going to keep you all separated. And then you will get to wait for the police report. And sometimes that takes 2 to 4 weeks, and you got damage on your truck, and, you know, all that just compounds everything and makes everything last longer. So when you can get that information, get out, the police is coming, that's fine. But you can still get out and take pictures. You can try to talk to the other driver. If they're civil, great, get their information. Hey, man, let's just exchange info. Chances are you do all that. By the time that officer shows up, he says, hey, you've already exchanged information. Let's go. You know, I'm out of here. I don't need to write a report. They don't want to write a report if they don't have to. They do enough of those throughout the day anyway. So, you know, that situation, you can handle it yourself. If, like Jeff said, if they're being difficult, being argumentative, then just stay away from them. You can still take pictures just like this, is get their DOT number, get their truck number, walk around and, you know, get that information. You don't have to verbally talk with them, and then go from there. Wait for the officer to show them to say, hey, I just need his name, his insurance, all that, and they'll get that for you. And many times they could get it from the driver, provided to you. You give them yours information, same thing, and you still didn't have to write a report. And that's at the end of the day, many of them, that's what they want to do. So just makes it easier.
All right, let's keep rolling along. What we got next?
Man, I think we're talking maintenance, cold weather coming up, D. So we got Trent here from our road assist and maintenance department. Good morning, Trent.
You know, before you go, Trent is one of these folks that's like one of the best utility players in baseball. You know, drove here, teaches classes here. You know, we've seen him in a lot of tutorial videos here, speaking here at the Friday morning meeting. These are the kind of folks that we just love to have here. And Trent, thank you for what you do. Appreciate you being here this morning.
Thank you, Dennis. You got to keep moving. You got to keep busy. Well, this morning I wanted to talk about an issue that you're going to see probably in here in a couple of days. Winter is right on our doorstep, and it is going to get really, really cold next week. So I'm about to go over a bunch of stuff that I've already been over. If you watch these meetings every week, this is a reminder, but I wanted to get this back out and make you guys aware of what you're going to be facing this coming week. So the biggest issue you've got when it gets really, really cold out, your diesel can freeze. It gets cold enough, it's going to crystallize and solidify, and your truck's not going to work anymore. So you've got to make sure you're using a product called Antigel correctly. And I'm going to kind of go over this really quick, but I want to preface this by saying I do have a video on our YouTube channel that goes over everything I'm about to go over in a lot more detail. So if you need a good refresh and reminder on how to use Antigel, please watch that video on our Prime Corporate YouTube channel. So the main couple things that you need to know about Antigel that kind of tricks drivers. First of all, it's not a one and done. You've got to add more and more and more Antigel in, the colder and colder it gets out. And, you know, it's going to get really cold next week. We're talking below zero temperatures in a lot of areas. And one treatment of Antigel is not enough. If it gets below 0 degrees, you've got to put that second treatment in the fuel system. The magic number with Antigel is 20. All right. Anytime it goes below 20 degrees, you need to have that fuel treated. And every treatment that you put in is only going to affect about 20 degrees of dropping the freeze point. So every 20 degrees it gets colder, 0 degrees, you're going to need to add your second treatment in, -20. You're looking at adding a third treatment in. My rule of thumb on this, err on the side of caution, you really can't put too much in the fuel system, but if you don't put enough in, you'll find out the hard way, and it's not a fun lesson to learn. I want to talk about the hardest thing to treat on the fuel system. It's not as simple as just putting the stuff in the fuel tanks, because you've got fuel in your fuel lines, injectors, your engine. All that fuel has to be treated. And the hardest thing to treat on your tractor, a lot of drivers don't realize this even uses diesel fuel, but your bunk heater does. It burns diesel fuel. That's what's producing heat for your cab. And it doesn't use a lot. So it's going to take a long time to pull treated fuel all the way from the fuel tank up to that bunk heater. You need to give that bunk heater about 3 hours of runtime after you put the treatment in the fuel system, okay? It's important also to remember every time you put more fuel in the fuel tank, you've got to treat that new fuel and compensate. So add more Antigel in every time you stop. I hope you don't need this, but another good thing to carry around with you when it gets freezing like this, if the fuel does gel up, you're going to want a product called 911. It's an ungelling agent. So you dump this stuff in the fuel tanks, and it will actually return that gelled fuel back to a liquid state. I also recommend you guys carry around some extra tractor fuel filters. When the fuel gels up, usually that fuel filter is going to be garbage, and we've got to pull it out and replace it. And these parts get hard to find out there on the road. So carry around a spare with you so it's ready to go in the event that it is needed. So that's Antigel. The last thing, I kind of already hit on this, but you've got to make sure you treat the entire fuel system, which means if you are not paying attention, you park for the night, you pull up your phone and look at it and go, oh, crap, it's going to get down to 5 degrees tonight. I better treat my fuel. And you dump Antigel in the fuel tanks and go to bed, you're going to wake up cold because the rest of that fuel system isn't treated. So make sure you give everything plenty of time to run and get fully treated. Moving on, some other things you need to be aware of and prepare yourself with for this cold weather. First of all, dead batteries are going to be a threat. If your batteries are going out, they're going to be dead when it gets cold enough. So make sure you've got jumper cables. Most of us are reefer, and you guys have it easier than anybody else in the trucking world because you got a reefer right behind you. You can jump start your truck off that reefer. So just make sure you got jumper cables with you. Cat litter is a good thing to carry around. It's a great way to add some traction. If you're slipping somewhere, throw some cat litter under the wheels, and it a lot of times will get you out of that spot. You also want to carry some lock de-icer or a torch lighter. This could be for your door locks or for that padlock on the back of the trailer. You get ice build up inside that, and it can be a headache. So carry some de-icer or a torch lighter to melt that. A good rule of thumb when you're setting your brakes in a truck stop and you're going to be parking for several hours, don't set your trailer brakes. Keep your trailer brakes released. When you set your brakes, that pad is going to go against the rotor or the drum. And if there's any moisture on that pad, it's going to freeze right there on the drum, and it's going to be really hard to get them released. So keep your brakes released if you can. And then, obviously make sure you're ready for this cold, and that means keeping yourself warm. So, make sure you've got a good coat and backup in case your heater goes out. Get a really good blanket or a sleeping bag so you can stay warm in that event. Last thing I'm going to mention, and we're a little bit late to the game here, but those of you that are here at the terminal and you want to get your truck looked at and make sure that you're really ready for this cold weather, we offer a package here at our terminals called the Winter Prep Package. We go over several things and just make sure the truck is tuned up and ready for this cold. So on that note, I see I've got a question over here. I'll open it up to any questions any of you have.
Actually, just a comment because I might have missed it. I know all of our professional drivers don't need to hear this, but other people might. While you're treating your fuel system with the anti-gel, don't forget your reefer because that has a really long uninsulated fuel line.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's actually the second hardest thing to treat on your equipment. So thank you for pointing that out. Your reefer is going to need 2 to 3 hours of runtime. It's got about 30 feet of fuel line that the fuel has to go through.
Trent, that new anti-gel that they've got out there in driver lineup, it says it treats 750 gallons. Is that accurate or is that?
I don't want to throw a quote out on that because I haven't looked at that. I didn't know we were switched over to that yet. I thought we were still.
We've got a new one out there. They say it says on the bottle for 750 gallons. And I've kind of like real gun shy on it.
I'll tell you what, I don't have an answer there, but I will get an answer. And I think that'll be a good thing to put out on our socials. So watch out for that and we'll put that out there. Okay. Go ahead.
Hey man, so I just wanted to bring this up. It comes up a lot of times with road assist, and I get questions, other reps get questions about this, about the DEF tanks, if they need any treatment or anything like that at all. DEF tanks do not need treatment. Our trucks all are equipped with a heater in the tank to thaw anything out if it does freeze. But I'll say we've actually had a couple instances of people throwing anti-gel in their DEF tanks, and it's a very expensive repair to do that because you got to clean out the whole DEF system. So mainly wanted to come up and make a comment. Don't treat your DEF. It's not necessary. There's no additive to it. So don't be adding anything. No anti-gel, no snake oil. Don't add it to the DEF tank.
Thank you. Yeah, oil and water do not mix. Diesel is an oil product. DEF is a water product. So don't mix those two things together or it's going to be a real bad day. All right. Well, thank you all for what you do. Stay safe out there. I hope to see you at the party tonight. Thanks.
Thank you.
Man, that's a lot of information. That's really good information about Trent and his team, and we're always appreciative to what they do here.
Yeah, they do a wonderful job and a great support system no doubt for our drivers and for us in-house too.
You know, so we had a couple minutes here, and I just want to make sure that, you know, Dave and I and anybody else here that has the knowledge and information are available to answer your questions. You know, we do this about once a month. We call it kind of camera corner. You know, we know sometimes drivers have some questions about the Netrodyne camera. You know, so right here, right now, what do you got? What are your questions? We're going to spend a few minutes answering questions. What you got? Somebody's got a question.
We're looking for softballs if possible. I mean,
you know,
what's those lights mean, Dennis? On the camera?
High hard questions. You know, we can typically handle those too. We got one over here.
Hi. What's the deal with the signing of a consent? If you don't consent, why would you sign?
If you don't consent, don't sign. If you do sign, that is acknowledgement of consent. Okay. Now here, transparency is the name of the game. Here's the deal. This is the direction that we're moving with the safety of our company. All right. And if you are not in line with that, if you're saying, hey, I love Prime, I appreciate what you guys doing, I'm not okay going in that direction. You know, we'll answer any questions you may have, but at the end of the day, if you're not wanting to consent to that, then we'll have to amicably shake hands and terminate our business agreement with you.
Thank you.
Got a couple more over here.
Keith,
Bill.
right here. Renee. Yep, there you go.
So since we've had the camera, my seatbelt, it cuts up into my neck. Do I have to make something that's orange to sit on my seatbelt so it doesn't keep sliding up and cutting up into my neck because I'm shorter? And then Nashville doesn't have my adjustable strap. If I go to adjust it the way I need to adjust it, it looks like my seatbelt's falling off. So do I have to have something orange to be able to keep my seatbelt from slicing into my neck so I don't keep getting, okay, you're wearing your seatbelt wrong, you're wearing your seatbelt wrong. Does that make sense what I'm trying to explain?
It makes sense, and I don't know that it's necessarily the color, it's the way you wear the belt, all right? So we see a lot of these seatbelt alerts, okay? And what we get is I have my seatbelt on and, you know, like you said, it's down here on your bicep, you know, or it's literally laying in your lap because you've got the slack pulled. You know, those are violations. Now, your situation potentially could be unique. Let's take a look at it and see what we need to do. You know, but overall, you know, we're looking for the same thing the Captain Kellys of the world are looking for. We want to make sure that, you know, you're belted in properly, that if something happens, you're protected by that instrument. And, you know, of course, lastly, that you don't get written up, you know, on a seatbelt violation.
That's the end of the day right there, that inspection. If they see you're not wearing it properly, it just gives them a reason to stop you. So go ahead, Bill. Another one?
I got 2 videos of talking. It said I was excessive yawning. Then I got a video of standing in front of my truck while I was parked and said I was a collision warning.
What's the question?
The question is are they going to improve on that?
So with the yawning, you know, that's not something that you're dinged on. There's no anything like that. That's a warning for you. That's a warning for you. And we have drivers, trust me, that fall asleep all the time. If you're not tired, no harm, no foul. But if you are, maybe that gives you the indication that, hey, maybe this is a good time for a 30-minute break. Okay, maybe this is a good time to stop and get breakfast, lunch, or dinner, depending on what time of day it is. Maybe it's a good time to go ahead and just check my equipment. Get up, get your blood circulating potentially, and kind of reassess what the plan is for the rest of the day. This isn't something that's punitive. That's a warning for you to protect you from falling asleep. Now, the other one, which you're standing in front of the truck, you know, you can see your videos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, safety departments can see your videos, and your fleet manager can see those. We obviously know that was not a situation. So.
Well, I'm still going to constantly get the videos of me being excessive tired because the way I talk.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I want to constantly get the videos of excessive yawning because of the way I talk. So that's why I'm saying they're going to improve on that one.
You're talking to an old man here. I can't hear what you're saying. Something about excessive videos and talking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we can take a look at it. We got Jimmy over here.
Yeah, I want to ask about when you try to park your trailer and you have your seatbelt on. It's kind of hard to make an adjustment and trying to have seatbelt on as well. You know, making a certain movements because certain areas you have to see and it kind of restrict you when you go up or down to back up.
Don't quote me, and Carla, you might have to answer this one. I think the setting is 15 miles an hour. If you ain't backing up or going forward 15 miles an hour, it shouldn't be giving you any alerts.
So if you're backing up and you need to take off your seatbelt, you can do just so you don't go above 15 miles an hour. Just be careful. You know what I mean? But that being said, you can take it off and look back. Yeah.
And you might even need to get out and look.
There you go.
Can't do that with a seatbelt on, can you?
Go ahead, Roy.
Roy Romo.
I noticed with those cameras that it's an AI system. And if you do get alerts and it's not for something like being drowsy, it's for talking or eating or something like that, man, you need to go in there and give a little feedback. Let the camera and the people that are in charge of the camera look at it, see that, okay, this is not a true alert. And it's teaching the camera what is not a true alert. I used to get a lot of yawning and a lot of drowsy driving because I was talking, and because I put in the feedback, the camera's no longer doing that. So it's an AI system. It does work.
Hey man, you just took up when I was going to sum it all up. You just took it right there. But we got one over here, back here on the left.
So, about the seatbelt thing, I have an international and I train a lot, and my students use a seatbelt like a cushion that wraps around it to protect their neck. It's not orange. It doesn't set the camera off. They're cheap. You can get them. They're easy. So
there you go.
Mitch has one more. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, maybe a couple. The comments were pretty slow this morning. All it took was you to get up here and say the word cameras.
Camera. Explosion.
one of the questions here is it a possibility of getting the inside camera turned off if we don't have any events? Would there be a chance of the safer drivers being rewarded by turning the inward facing camera off?
No, sir.
And this might be a question for Richard or Carla over there, but how do you turn the volume on the camera up?
I believe those are fleet-wide settings, so you can't individually, or we can't individually turn one truck up. It's a fleet-wide setting.
One more, end it with a softball. You talked about phone usage earlier not being as common. Do you think that's directly correlated? Can you prove some causation there?
You know, going back to those old marketing days, marketing 350, I think it's a +1 correlation. You know, I think when you talk about the accountability, when nobody's watching, sometimes we may put it out and, you know, do a little something. And I'm not, you know, hey, everybody does it. You're not alone. Every single person does it. Every single person. It's part of our fabric. But now, as professionals, that accountability level is there. And believe it or not, there's still folks that do it with the camera on them, you know. But, you know, that accountability level is there. You just have to learn and change your habits. It takes about 14 days, psychologists tell you, to do something to make it a habit. So after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks of you getting used to the equipment in the truck and knowing and understanding what it's looking for, most drivers typically don't have a problem after that.
And Dennis, you know, Missouri just passed that January 1st, baby.
So January 1st, we passed it a long time ago, but they just put into implementation.
Yeah.
So this goes to anybody, not just UCDL holders, anybody behind the wheel of a vehicle in the state of Missouri. You are now going to be held accountable and cited if you have a device in your hand. You know, truck drivers have been dealing with this for a long time. Now, and I'm talking to you in-house folks, Keith, Rookie, put that phone down or they're going to catch you and they're going to give you a ticket. Last question.
Actually, just a quick comment. You mentioned earlier, this is the way that the company's going for their safety of the drivers and equipment like that. I just want to go ahead and let you know, I was at a shipper, and I'm not going to mention names on it recently, where I saw all of their spotter trucks had the cameras in them now too. So it's the way the industry is going, not just this company.
100% right. We have one more.
Dennis got one over here.
Or with two more, and then we got to keep moving. Go ahead.
As far as the cameras having the AI component, is the AI an individual camera? Like, is the camera in one driver's truck going to learn that driver's habits, or is the AI more of a system-wide?
You're getting real deep into the woods here. I might have to lean on Carla. She says she thinks it's system-wide. That's something we can double check and get you an answer. I agree with that. I do think it's system-wide.
Last one.
All right, so I have two. The first one is, how long is the camera going to stay on when the truck stops?
3 minutes.
It stays on
Well,
for 3
let me go ahead and say, let me quantify that or qualify that. The inward-facing camera will remain on for 3 minutes. So anytime the truck is stopped, whether you are at a customer stop or truck stop, or you are in traffic in Atlanta, if you stop for 3 minutes, it'll automatically go into privacy mode. When you turn the key and aux are off, it's a little bit shorter than 3 minutes. It just depends on when it catches that the ignition is not on.
Okay, and my second is, I wear glasses, and my glasses are for distance, right? I also have bifocals for reading things up close. So a lot of times, if I need to see something more clearly on the dashboard, I'll look over the top of my glasses. Every single time I do that, I get a warning for looking down. One time I was like literally watching the road like this. It gigged me for looking down for 30 seconds as if I was driving like this for 30 seconds. Is there a way to get it to exclude these things so that it doesn't continually generate the same warning over and over? Because I have to then reply to each one to have my points restored, because every time it happens, it takes points off.
Had to pose for the gram. I hear you. Hey, so a couple things. You know, one, best practices is instead of doing this, do this. Okay. Two, you know, there's a parameter with the looking down. If you look down once, it's not gonna ding you. It's when you look down intermittently is the word that he uses for 5 seconds. So that means we're kind of continuously doing this. We're continuously looking away. That'll ding you. Come on up to my desk. We can look at a few of your videos and we can go through it. So, all right, we're going to close that. We're going to close that part out. We got a special guest coming up, but before, as he makes his way, Brad Corinne, start to make your way up here. But a couple things, you know, all these technology questions. We got our friends Richard and Brienne over here, Richard and Carla over here on my right that can answer whatever questions you have, Prime Mobile app related, Metrodime related. If you haven't signed on to the Driver Eye app and you can't see your videos, they can get you taken care of. And of course, every Friday we've got Brad Quinn up here. He's got on his Chiefs red. Dave's got on his red, and I got on red too. You know, we do this every Friday. RED, remember everyone deployed. So folks out here in the crowd, if you served our country in uniform, if you defended our freedom, which I appreciate so much, if you will stand for just a second and give us an opportunity to honor you. Great deal, great deal. So, hey, I've got Brad Quinn up here, and I think he's going to introduce some special guests. So good morning. Welcome, Brad.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, good morning. And I really wanted to wear my Notre Dame Fighting Irish after they kicked Georgia's butt last night. So, but anyway, I wear red. Now we can get done with this camera stuff. We have a customer here that drove in from Kansas City to visit us. He specifically asked to come in at a time when he felt there would be, you know, some drivers available to hear him talk. And thank you all for what you do. So, you know, right now it's first of the year. First quarter typically can get slow. I know the last several years for us, you know, we haven't really seen the downfall of the first quarter. So that's enlightening. It's good for us. It's also bid season for a lot of customers. Fortunately, we're not going through bids with this customer. And conversely, we were up there a couple of weeks ago for a dinner and had a meeting beforehand, and we were asked if we could take on some more business. So actually 20% more. So, you know, that's kind of a nice thing that we like to see, especially going into the first of the year when a customer comes to us and asks us if we can handle some more volume. So all that volume comes because of what you all do, you know, your safety, your on-time service. A lot of the volume that we picked up, this customer's only been with us a couple of years. When we started out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loads a week, you know, we might get up to 20. 3 plants. They have a plant in St. Joseph, Missouri, Guyman, Oklahoma, and Sioux City, Iowa. So this is the other white meat. This is pork. So we do haul a lot of pork. We haul a lot of chicken, obviously a lot of red meat. So, you know, this stuff ships 24/7. It ships 52 weeks. Good business, drop trailers. So anyway, I want to bring up Peter Callaghy from Seaboard Foods in Shawnee Mission, Kansas. And we'll just let him take it from here. Not only is he, you know, a good customer, but he's a good friend. We text on the side. I taught him how to put up these cool Christmas lights for the year round, and we send videos to each other of the different lights that we do. And so anyway.
It's all true. It's all true. And thank you, Brad. Anytime I walk into any room, anywhere, I want you to open for me and be my introduction. So thank you very much. Like Brad said, I work for Seaboard Foods. Some of you may know our brands, Prairie Fresh, Dailies. We have 3 production plants. We love pork. Absolutely love pork. Love it so much. We ship it everywhere along in the United States, and you all do that with us as a business partner, as a family partner, as a friend partner. As much as I like pork, I saw a gentleman eating a steak over here, and you did not tell me I could get a full steak on the breakfast menu, Brad. So, accountability partner, you have. Yes. Anyway, I had asked Brad to let me come and get in front of the driver group, and we were throwing some dates back and forth, and he said, you know what, the Christmas party is where everybody tunes in. So happy 2025, Springfield, Pittston, Salt Lake City. Really look forward to the next year. But I wanted to be able to get in front of as many of the driver group as I could. And I wanted to get in front of everybody to say thank you. Thank you from Seaboard. Thank you from my team. Thank you from my entire company for doing a wonderful job for Seaboard, for your professionalism, for your skill, and your service. We have had nothing but great experiences from Prime. When I walked into the doors here almost 2 years ago on the day, I walked in the front doors and I saw a driver-centric company, a company that allows drivers to come in, welcomed in. You have safety meetings every Friday, which are fantastic, and you guys do a fantastic job. You know, I try to watch as many as I can. I learn a lot. Luckily today, I'm not here to talk to you about safety. You guys know way more than I do. And I certainly won't say camera. But from the bottom of my heart, from my company, I bring the message of thanks to all of the drivers at Prime. You all have one heck of an organization, and give yourselves a pat on the back, round of applause, everything. You deserve it.
If anyone has any questions, you know, Peter could take a few. I know we're running really tight, but if there are any simple ones, if not.
One other question about the camera. While I was driving, I had some maniac cut me off really close, and it said that I was too close to a vehicle, and I wouldn't want to get docked points for some other psycho.
I was gonna.
Oh, go ahead. If you want to. Brad, you got this one? No, I got it. You know, in situations like that, again, you know, there's living, breathing human beings, you know, in the form of your fleet manager, in the form of the safety department that are watching. You know, in addition, if you feel like you've been dinged for something, there's a feedback button. Hit that feedback. You can dispute it. You can give us your information about it. We've got folks that are watching those disputes and going along with it. So, and if you're standing right here, come on up. We'll take a look at it together.
Hey, one last point I'm gonna make on Seaboard is, you know, this tremendous growth that we've had. You know, a lot of that was via, our service. You know, when Seaboard went back and looked at how can we grow, you know, we talked about our OTIF scores, our Walmart on-time delivery, not just with Walmart, but you got Costco, you got Safeways, Kroger's, all those. So they went back to their sales team and looked at, you know, penalties they're paying and how they can have a savings by utilizing Prime on delivering these loads on time. So we, you know, Peter can tell how much, but we do a big percentage of their Walmart OTIF business. So that's where a lot of our extra volume went. So thank you, Peter.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. And he brought his wife, Colty, over here. Colty, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you too. You both have red on. You came dressed the right way. You do pay attention to our meetings, don't you? So here's really a number that I think is extremely important. We went from like 0 to 850,000 a week in 2 years with this company. And he's already committed this coming year, we'll get another 20%, hopefully, of growth. I know that's a little dependent upon, you know, your sales team and demand, but you also have some carriers in there that you can kick out and move that freight over as, right? Hey. Come on now. You got to get on the team here, right, Peter?
So much pressure when I'm around Steve, so much pressure.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, we're very grateful for the relationship and the friendship you've created with us. And We look forward to 25 and a good year for additional growth. So,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So do we. And I didn't want to leave out the nerve center of the organization, the operational team. Wanted to make a call out to Todd Davis, Ryan Summers, Caitlin Doak, Bailey Durbin, those folks on the operational side, sales side, the driver managers, everybody in this building that is able to support the driving group.
You bet. It's a team effort, and we're blessed to have so many good people. And I'm glad you recognize how valuable those operations people truly are. Brad, he just sits back and takes accolades like he's delivering on time. He hadn't delivered one on time in 25
I learned from
years.
Steve.
Hey, as you guys know, these guys are great at sitting back and being cheerleaders for the folks that do the solid work.
You bet, we do. And to that end, I see John Blamson over here, who's got a big night tonight, right, John? Yeah, big night. You better give him a round of applause. We want to have plenty of food this evening. And so I think with that, Peter, we're going to bring up Darrell. You got something you'd like to share with us, and then you bring up El Jefe. You can't take the microphone away from El Jefe. I know that. Peter, thanks.
No,
again.
once he's got it, it's
Thanks,
stuck.
Brad. Good job.
I just say a couple of quick things. One, how cool is it to have a customer like Peter that cared enough to drive all the way here just to say thanks for what you guys do?
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
That's great.
says a lot about our customer base is what I think it says. So the other thing too is every time I'm at these meetings, it really hits me that, you hear us talk about your health, and we care about your health, and you hear Trent come up and talk about how to make you more successful financially and what we can do there. But really, at the end of the day, what we care the most about is just your safety, is that you're safe on the road. And so, we've got a lot of resources here, but I already saw like the weather this weekend. It's supposed to maybe get some freezing rain here, around our area. I know that's stuff we're going to face everywhere. And I always worry because I want you guys to be extremely safe. We don't want anybody to get hurt. So use your resources. Make sure you have the right things on the truck. You're using good judgment. And when I say resources, I don't just mean like, Dennis and this crew. I mean, if you look at this table over here, we have a lot of veterans that sit there. They've been around a long time. I saw Henry Manning walking around. These guys have done it safely for a lot of years, and they know what they're doing. Don't hesitate to reach out to these guys and gals that know how to drive safe and ask questions, because they're a great resource. So kudos to that group, and kudos to everybody that participates in trying to make it safe. So with that, I will finally hand over the mic to the leader of our team, the guy that started the company.
Yeah, but he throws a big party too. He's not just a trucker.
I do. It's going to be epic. I'm looking forward to tonight. It's going to be epic. I hope y'all can make it. Those of you that are out there on the road working, appreciate you all too. We'll party enough for you too. Peter, where'd he go?
He's back over here.
Peter, thank you very much. We appreciate your business. If all our customers were this good, and I know we have some listening, Peter's setting the standard. We appreciate you very much, Peter. So I just want to thank you. And now his guy here, Brad Quinn, is his sales rep. And Steve, I think you were talking about Brad never delivered one on time in 25 years. I'll just have to, it was more than 25 years ago, but Brad started out. Y'all might not believe Brad started out. This lofty, big shot now, but he started out way down here. He was a company runner. And what that means, he'd go to the mailbox, he'd go over to the lawyer's office, get something signed. And he'd also we didn't have a cafeteria at the time, so Brad would take lunch orders. And this guy, he's pretty amazing. He'd go around to each individual. And, okay, I want a cheeseburger, but don't put any ketchup or mustard on it. And then he goes, these people in-house are picky. They are picky now and they're picky then. But he would get all these special orders. And then he'd run, well, I'm just going to McDonald's. No, okay, I'll go to Wendy's too. he'd go all these different places. He'd go to Burger King. He'd go wherever. And then he'd get all these sandwiches just right for all these picky individuals. And he'd get them back here, and he did deliver them on time. See if I got
Well,
it.
he did that. And if you wanted Asian food, he'd stop and get you some.
If you want some Chinese chicken.
Whatever.
Well, yeah.
Well, one thing he wasn't doing then, he wasn't going to the bank because we didn't have much deposit back then, if you recall.
That's true. That's true. But anyway, so Brad, he was good. We got a lot of good folks here. Have a lot of great drivers. Some of you all make it possible. You make it happen. And we truly want to thank you. God bless you. Please be safe. See you tonight.
Thank you.